Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my pre-game preview of the Seattle Seahawks taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, let's kick this off with the injury report for the Seattle Seahawks. As we all know, Benson Mayowa, Alton Robinson, and Tyler Lockett are all questionable for this game, as Benson Mayowa has a neck injury, Alton Robinson a knee injury, and Tyler Lockett a hip injury. Then we go up to doubtful, where we got wide receiver D. Eskridge with a concussion, so that's pretty harsh. And then we go to who will not 100% be playing, and that is Rashad Penny, who has a calf injury and is in injury reserve. And then we got tackle Brandon Shell with an ankle injury. Now, these injuries to Seattle, they're going to be costly, especially to the defense. Benson Mayowa is a very good edge rusher, and so is Alton Robinson. And also losing Tyler Lockett on offense and the rookie D. Eskridge, these are some players that we can lose. We just can't lose these players, or else, well, our defense mostly won't function as properly, because we all know what kind of defense Seattle has. And against this San Francisco offense, I don't think that Seattle's going to be very good against Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance. Now, on to the 49ers injury report. And on questionable players, we got tight end George Kittle, who has a calf injury, Elijah Mitchell, the running back, with a shoulder injury, and defensive tackle Javon Kinlaw with a knee injury. And then we go up to Josh Norman, who is doubtful for this game, and honestly, rightfully so. The guy legit started coughing up blood in the last game he played, and I believe something with his lungs, something to do with his lungs that I don't remember. I did mention it in a video prior, but I do not remember at this time. But then we go up to out, and that is cornerback Quan Williams with a calf injury. Now, San Francisco is in a way better position. Even if they don't have George Kittle, they are still in a way better position than Seattle, especially on defense. Even if they lose Josh Norman, he's not really that kind of a player anymore. But also losing Javon Kinlaw, possibly, because he's questionable for this game. Even so, I still believe that this is a hard blow to the 49ers, but it might not be a hard blow onto them than all of the injuries on Seattle, because in Seattle's side, they're really tough because Seattle doesn't have a good defense, unlike San Francisco, who also has a very good offense. Now let's get on to the Seattle starting offense, which of course consists of Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, and Alex Collins will be the running backs. Travis Homer and DJ Dallas are also there. Then we get on to wide receivers. If Tyler Lockett cannot go, or D. Eskridge, we at least have Penny Hart, and we also got Freddie Swain. DK Metcalf is good to go, so we got a good receiving game, even if Tyler doesn't play, although it's going to be a big blow because Tyler Lockett has been explosive and dominant as a Seattle Seahawk, especially this year. Then we go to tight ends, where Gerald Everett is out, so instead, Will Dissly will get the start, and Tyler Mabry will be his backup. Now, the starting offensive line is Dwayne Brown, the left tackle. At right tackle, we got Jamarco Jones, since, of course, Brandon Shell won't be playing. Damian Lewis is the left guard. Gabe Jackson, the right guard. And Kyle Fuller will be the center. As we all know, Ethan Posich is out for this game. Now, that offensive line, I'm kind of shaky about that. Jamarco Jones better do a good job, but that Seattle offensive line needs to protect Russell Wilson and open up holes for both Carson, Alec Collins, and even for DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, because this game is won by the offense. Now, on to the edge rushers and defensive ends, and that would be Kerry Hyder and Rasheem Green, possibly Carlos Dunlap. He has been very good for the Seattle Seahawks. LJ Collier is also an option, but I believe that Hyder or a combination of Rasheem Green or Carlos Dunlap will start for the Seattle Seahawks as the edge rushers. At nose and defensive tackle, we'll have Al Woods and Poona Ford, Brian Moan being one of the backup defensive tackles we have. Then at outside linebacker, we go with Darrell Taylor and Jordan Brooks. And of course, Bobby Wagner right at the middle linebacker position. Then we get Nick Bellor, who is a backup linebacker. Even though he plays fullback, he did a very good job at linebacker during the preseason. So I'll say good idea to put him as a linebacker. And then we get Cody Barton, who is also a very good linebacker and did honestly very good for the Seattle Seahawks these past few years. Hopefully he keeps doing well. And then we get on to cornerbacks, DJ Reed and Trey Flowers. Now, I'm just going to say this. Our defensive backs, our best one is Jamal Adams at safety, strong safety specifically. And we got also safety Quandre Diggs. Now, even though those are decent players, except for Jamal, who is the best safety in Seattle's, well, not Seattle's history, because you got Cam Chancellor and also Earl Thomas there, but he's right now the best safety in the NFL, possibly. I'm not going to say he is, but he's possibly the best. But then you get Marquise Blair, Ugo Amadi, Ryan Neal, Sidney Jones IV, and John Reed. Also, Blesown Austin. I think that's how you say his name. I don't know. But regardless, I have no faith in the Seattle defensive backfield because they are just terrible. The only one that is not is Jamal Adams. Now, for the 49ers offense, Jimmy Garoppolo 100% is the starter. Trey Sermon will most likely take over as the starter for the San Francisco 49ers unless he's injured. There's also Trenton Cannon and Jaquise Patrick. Kyle Juszczyk, the best fullback in the NFL, is on that team as well. But then we go to the receiving game when you got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuels, Mohamed Sanu. You also got Trent Sherfield, Jalen Hurd, and Juwan Jennings. Honestly, I love that receiving core from San Francisco. Honestly, I love it because they're very good players, but I hate it because they're the 49ers. But regardless of my bias, I still think Seattle will lose to this team because this team just has a very good offense. And George Kittle, if he doesn't play, well, at least you got Ross Dwell and Charlie Warner. But besides that, their starting offensive line consists of left tackle Trent Williams, right tackle Mike McGlinchey, left guard Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack at the center position, and Danielle Burnskill as the right guard. Now, honestly, this San Francisco offensive line may be a bit troubling, but that doesn't mean that the San Francisco 49ers are a pushover. We gotta work very hard to keep them in check. And honestly, this offense needs to be kept in check because that's the only way Seattle will win. Now, on to their defense. The defensive ends, Arik Armstead and Nick Bosa. If Kinlaw plays, he's the defensive tackle alongside DJ Jones. Now, that honestly, the first four defensive linemen that are coming for Russell Wilson, honestly, I see issues for that because those are some very good defensive linemen, especially Nick Bosa. And honestly, I see this as a troubled game for Russell Wilson unless that offensive line of Seattle blocks for him. Hopefully they can. Then we go on to the Will and Sam linebackers as Z Al-Shair and Marcel Harris. And in the Mike linebacker, we got the apparently the Panamanian linebacker, Fred Warner, who is now apparently the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. I don't remember if that's true, but I did hear something like that. And he's from my home country of Panama. I think he is. But then, honestly, that linebacking core, I don't really know much about it except for Fred Warner. And then we go on to the cornerbacks. Of course, we got Emmanuel Moseley and Demorder Lenore. Probably butchered those names. But regardless of that, then they got nickelback Quan Williams. And, of course, safety Jimmy Ward and Jaquise Tart. But then we got that. That is troubling for me. I don't really know these guys as much. But if they are to leave Seattle wide receivers open, that is the opening Seattle will need to beat the 49ers. Because honestly, if you leave it up to DK and Tyler, you're probably going to get a win. Probably on offense, but not on defense. Regardless of that, I think we can defeat the 49er defense. I think we can. But the problem will be the San Francisco offense. Now, in conclusion, the Seattle Seahawks will lose this game 100%. This is going to be a loss for the Seattle Seahawks. Honestly, I would love to say Seattle beats the 49ers because I am a Seahawks fan. I would love to say that, but I be putting my bias up front, and that's not what I want to do. I don't want to be biased at all. And I'm going to say Seattle loses this 23-25. Now, Seattle, you need to put your head together because you have tough teams to face in the future. And if you lose to teams like, honestly, Tennessee, all right, I understand. They got Derrick Henry and he rolled over the defense. But then you lose to the Vikings and not even in a comeback win. You allowed them to keep a lead, a strong lead against you when they lost because they missed a field goal the previous week against the Cardinals. Now, all I'm going to say is this. Seattle, you got to get your heads together. You got to take down Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, whoever's that quarterback. You got to stop those receivers. You got to stop that running back. And that defense needs to be strong against them. And of course, the offense needs to torch that San Francisco defense. Because I believe Russell Wilson can torch them and can beat that defense. But the issue will always be the Seattle defense. That's how we know that we win or lose. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Tweet me any video ideas. Also, tell me down in the comments below, what do you think is going to happen in this game? Who's going to win and who's going to lose? Do you think Seattle has a chance, or do you think Seattle's chances are up? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe and hit the notification if you want more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.